and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the third palette from the Regeneration collection. This one is the Revelation palette and I'm really excited about trying this one and testing it out for you. Now I've tried a couple of the palettes before today. I'll link those down below for you to have a look at if you've not seen them. I'm really finding that the mattes are incredible. They blend together. The shimmers add that fantastic pop of shimmer that we want on the lid, and all in all I'm in love. Absolutely loving these palettes, and again I cannot wait to share this. Now these are £8. You can pick them up from revolutionbeauty.com and you can also pick them up from superdrug.com. At the moment I think most of the palettes may be sold out, but I'll link it down below anyway, and you can always sign up for email updates if what you want is not available. If you go onto the Superdrug website, there is a 3 for 2 offer available, so if you do want to make a purchase, you might want to purchase sooner rather than later to avoid disappointment, you know, in not being able to actually get the product that you want. And also the 3 for 2 offer may not, I don't know how long it's available for, so yeah, I'd certainly purchase sooner rather than later, like I said. Before I go into trying that palette, I just want to give you a little review of the Dropper Foundation, also from Revolution Pro. I tested that yesterday in the shade F4, and initially it's taken me a little while to get used to these more dewy foundations. I usually use a matte foundation, the L'Oreal Infallible in fact, and it's a foundation that works very well with my skin. I do have a very oily T-zone, so anything with a little dewiness to it I naturally think is going to get much more oily. So I tried the foundation yesterday, and just before I went to bed I had a really good look at it just to see how it had performed, and I'd not touched it since the video, i.e. adding, you know, more product or anything else on top of it. Now initially when I applied my bronzer, I felt that it applied a little bit patchy, and I think that's all down to the fact that, you know, I use a matte foundation and it was just that I had to perhaps powder it down a little bit more. So I thought today that I would do that, so I wanted to apply it again today. I knew that we were going out and about this morning. I had to go back to Norwich to collect a few more bits and pieces, and so I decided to apply it again, and in fact actually I was very excited about applying it. Now when I looked at it late last night just before I removed it, I was expecting it to be very oily because of the dewiness and because of the oiliness of my skin, and because I suppose that, you know, when you think of a Dropper foundation you think liquidy, and so I was expecting it to really be oily, but it wasn't. It really held the dewiness, you know, it held onto the dewiness that was originally there. That's what you saw in the video, but it didn't increase the dewiness. It didn't increase, the oil didn't increase, and that was what I was looking for. So I thought, wow, I'm going to try it again tomorrow, like I said, and I was really excited about applying it today. What I've also done today is I've added more powder in this area. Now usually I'll just powder down here, but I decided to go all the way here. And I must admit that it worked. I applied the bronzer exactly the same way that I did yesterday. It's how I always apply it, although I've now picked up a more of a fluffy brush, as someone suggested yesterday. And even though I still used the NYX fan brush this morning, I've got to test out the larger brush, the application was a lot smoother. So I think it was just the fact that I'm not used to perhaps a more of a, you know, a dewy foundation. So I'm really pleased that this looks flawless today, how I like it. It looks a little bit dewy, but it doesn't feel like I've got, you know, an oil slick on my face. So the dewiness is there, but it seems to be keeping the oils at bay, which is really quite, I'm impressed. Because for a dewy foundation, and I've never found, and this is why I went to L'Oreal and used the matte foundation, because I've never found a dewy foundation that keeps the oils at bay, and this one does it. It looks natural. I've got a little bit of dewiness. I mean, at the end of the day, we all want a little bit of dewiness. We don't want our faces to be, really dry and cakey looking. No one wants that. But this one really does look dewy. It doesn't look oily. I'm happy with it. It's now been on, about at least 6 hours, and it still looks good. I'm really impressed with it. It's given me full coverage. There's no brush marks. I also found it a lot easier today to apply. And yesterday I found that especially adding the dropper to the brush was a little bit of a handful. I've been putting the actual container on my dressing table, lifting the dropper out and then dropping it onto the brush. It just seems a little bit easier than having everything in my hands, which that's what I did yesterday. But yeah, I'm definitely pleased that I've tried it for a second time. I definitely think that I'm going to be using it again, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's lightweight. My face feels like I can move it. It doesn't feel like a mask. It was very, very easy to remove last night, actually, because a little of that product goes a long, long way. Now, when you think of a dropper foundation, you think liquidy, that's not going to cover anything. It really does. I mean, you would have seen in yesterday's video that my skin underneath, it's not too bad. I don't have, awfully lot of problems with it. But I do have redness. We all have issues that we want to cover up. That's why we wear makeup. And it's completely covered the redness. It's not broken down. It's not... it's not disappeared. And after wearing it, like I said, for 6 hours, I've been out and about. It's been pouring with rain. I've not had an umbrella. I've had the rain in my face. The only thing that I've done is I've removed my eyeshadow and added a little bit more of concealer and define on my lids so that I can do this video. But apart from that, that's all I've done. And I'm very, very impressed with it. So I can certainly recommend this foundation. Out of the two, I have reviewed and I've tried on the Camouflage foundation. I would say that this one is definitely better for people with oily skin. It seems to have kept my oils at bay. And if you're looking for a full, like a camouflage, something that covers something on your face, then absolutely go for the Camouflage. But you might want to try this before, because I know that it doesn't say, that it's either full coverage, or it doesn't say anything actually, but it really does cover very well and gives you a medium medium coverage, even medium to full, because it's covered everything that I want covered. So that's how I found it. And I just felt with the Camouflage foundation that it was just a little bit too thick and sticky for my personal preference. This is definitely the one that I like better out of the two, and I will certainly be wearing this again. The test of it was going out and about with it on my face, and it's worked. And I love it. So yeah, definitely a thumbs up. Yesterday I said it was a 7 out of 10. Today it's definitely a good 9 out of 10. And the reason that I'm not giving it 10 out of 10 is that I would like it just a little bit more matte. If it was a little bit more matte, then it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. But I'm certainly very, very impressed, and I'm very pleased that I'm able to give you this positive review about this product, because yesterday I was quite disappointed actually that it didn't work very well on the cheek area. And I like to be positive about things, and I really want to say nice things, but I'm also very honest about what I say as well, because if I was to say this is okay when you could clearly see that perhaps it was a little bit patchy, then I wouldn't be honest, being honest. And I felt that I've got to mention these things. So I hope that you're enjoying my honesty. I try and be as positive as I can, without, obviously, I don't want to bash a product either. That's not what I'm about, but I want to be honest. But that's what I wanted to do, and I'm sorry if it's taking a little bit longer, because I wanted to explain that to you and give you my thoughts on that. But now what I want to do is share with you a little look with this palette, and I'm sure that if anybody out there likes the same shades as me, those mauves, those pinks, those neutral shades, you're going to be loving this Revelation palette. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk you through the colours, and I'm going to tell you what's matte and what's not. In this one though, it's pretty easy. You can see that the whole of the top row is completely matte. There's no shimmer there whatsoever. Another thing about this palette is if you like your contrast, so you like a black, you've got the black there. And also there is a cream matte shade. So that shade there, Good Intentions, is cream and it's matte. So if you like a good black, you've got a black shade there. But also if you like, like me, to be honest, I like in a palette it to have a cream shade, so that when you put whatever base you're putting on, you can put the cream shade on and you're ready to go without rummaging around in your makeup bag or wherever you store your makeup to try and find that neutral shade. So in this one you've got both. You've got the cream and you've got the deeper shade as well. But you've also got a full row of shimmers at the bottom, and this is another reason why it reminded me of that Huda palette, because if you turn it upside down, that is how the Huda palette looks with the shimmers at the top, but obviously this one is the other way round. Then you've got I think this is like it's a shimmer, but it's not as intense perhaps as this one here. And then you have more of an intense shimmer there. And then the rest of these are all matte. And like I said, all of this bottom row is completely shimmery. So I'll just pop that up close for you to have a good look at all of those shades. I really like the fact that not only is there a cool pink, but there's also a warm pink as well. You've got some really good transitional shades in there, and I cannot wait to test this out. I think what I'm going to start off with, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I never do. I always play it by ear because I don't like to plan too much. I like it all to be off the cuff. I think I'm going to start off with that one and see how I get on. If you're interested in the lip products that I'm wearing today, and I must admit I'm absolutely loving the topper, I'll list two of the products down below, but the topper will be featured in a separate video very, very soon. But I'm actually wearing on my lips the matte lip pigment from the Revolution Pro range in Veil, and then I've got a darker plummy lip liner. But yeah, the lip topper is a little bit of a taster of something that I'm going to be sharing with you very soon. Now, of course, the brush that I'm going to be using is, of course, my old favourite, the Primark PS, and it's the eye contour brush. Absolutely love this. I'm going to have a look at Primark brushes. I did actually get, like I say, a powder brush from there today, but I'm going to have to look at the eye brushes because I'm sure that they have really, their range of brushes have got a lot smaller. So anyway, I've got that shade Rebound, and again, all the shades will be listed down below if you want to follow this, if you've got this palette. And I'm just going to run that in the crease. Now I've already prepped my eyes and I've added the Conceal and Define concealer in F4 and just added a little bit of a face powder over the top. I'm really loving that. I knew I was going to love this palette, and I'm absolutely loving that warm pink. It's beautiful actually. It's like a dusty pink, this one. I knew it was going to be good just because obviously I've tested out the other palettes. The mattes are phenomenal. When you use them, they do kick up a little bit of product, but nothing major, nothing to worry about. And like I say, I've mentioned it before, I just pick that product up and I use it on the other eye. So there's no waste, no powder, going over the palette. and I'm a bit OCD about my palettes and my makeup. I like everything looking pristine. As always, this is really blending beautifully. I just love that colour. It is so pretty. I really like the fact that there's a lot of makeup out there, and especially from this brand and this range at the moment, that is very feminine. Yes, you do have the bright palettes, you do have something very different, and I think with this range especially there is something for everyone. And if you're like me and you like those pretty pinks and all of those pretty shimmery shades, this palette is definitely going to certainly work for you. It's absolutely beautiful. I love that shade. Yeah, Rebound, that one's called. Absolutely love it. Now I think, have I got enough on that one? Let me just put a little bit more on this side. Yeah, I think that's better. Now what I want to do is deepen it up slightly. I think I'm going to go in with Unruly, which is definitely a deeper, like a burgundy red colour. And I just want to pop a little bit of that on to see how it all works together. Can we build this up? Right. In general, I only use 2 or 3 eyeshadows, I would say, but when I used the first palette, I actually used about 5 shades, and it still worked really well. It didn't look muddy. They blended, you know, like an absolute dream. Beautiful. Didn't look too much either. I just love it. Love those colours. Again, they're working very well together. They blend very well together. And if you don't like the pink-eyed look, there's certainly browns and neutrals in here for you to try. The next shade I'm going to try. So let me just point out the next one. So it's called Lust, which is, it's like a brown, but it's got a little bit of pink to it. So I hope that that's going to work really well. So I'm just going to start deepening up the crease. I mean, like I say, I haven't decided or hadn't decided what I was going to do before I did this video. Just depends on what I feel like applying at the time. Now I find that if you apply pink, you need to apply a little bit of depth if you want it to look more of a neutral look. So that is working really, really well. I'm going to keep it in this. When I do like my eye looks to look fairly natural, but I also like them to show up as well. I'm just going to see if I can do the same on this side. I probably should have done one eye, perhaps, before. Beautiful eyeshadows, absolutely stunning, and they work together so well. Every eye look, and I was actually wearing, when I went out today, I was wearing the Mirage palette, which I shared with you a couple of days ago, and I had a orange eye look, and I really loved it. That is very pretty. Like I said, if you're worried about you know, wearing pinks on the eye, you know, you can neutralise it a little bit like I've done by adding the brown as well. That is so pretty, and I love how it's all blending together, but I really love that. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of shimmer, and there's one shade in here that is really catching my eye, and it is the shade Thrill. It's like a rose gold shade, and I think I've got to try that one. I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise that you can hear. I think my washing machine is trying to spin all over the kitchen floor. And I'm upstairs, so that's how loud my washing machine has decided. Usually it's quite quiet, but because I'm filming, it's decided it's going to probably hurl itself all over the kitchen floor. Wow, I'm absolutely loving. If you like rose gold, you need to get this palette just for that one shade, Thrill. That is certainly a show-stopping colour. I'm just going to get my PS Pro shading eye brush from Primark, and I'm just going to go right into the corner there. That colour has worked so well with this eye look. I'm absolutely loving it. Wow. That certainly is a showstopper of a colour. I'm loving it. Let's have a look. Oh, there is a light colour. I was just thinking, is there a light colour that I can put around the inner corner? Because I think that colour there might just be a little bit too deep, and there is, and it's called Innovate, which is the shade directly above it. It's the one that I was a little bit concerned about. Is it going to be shimmery? And it definitely is. Wow. Now that one doesn't look intense at all. Little bits of it, I put too much on and it's gone into my eye. There we go. But yeah, it's very intense, and this is why it's so good to try these palettes out, because sometimes you might think, like I did on that one, that pan there doesn't look shimmery. It certainly doesn't look as shimmery as perhaps these ones down the bottom, but actually it really has brightened up the inner corner. So absolutely love that. In fact, I'm loving the whole eye look. I love these intense looks. So now I'm just going to add another coat of mascara. I've already added one coat just because I've been wearing eyeshadow makeup today. Just going to add a little bit more just in case the eyeshadow's got on the lashes a little bit. And I put it down below as always. Just brush that off. Wow, I'm loving that. That is gorgeous. I think I'm definitely going to have to keep that palette. Well, to be honest, like I said, I've been using the two that I've shared with you before this one. I've been using them every day. I cannot put these palettes down. They are amazing, and there's so many looks. The first palette, and I can't even remember the name of it now, but I'll link them down below if you want to have a look. I've got three looks out of that palette already, and I've only just started. So they are such good palettes, and I'm loving that there's such a mix of colours in there. So I hope you enjoyed that and found that helpful. If this is one of the palettes, sorry, a little bit more of mascara has gone onto the bottom. Yeah, I hope you found that helpful. If this is one of the palettes that you were interested in seeing, perform on the eye. I have had a request for another one, which I've already gone back to, replied and said, yes, I have that one. And that is the Gold Mine palette. So I'll probably be doing that one next. I think it's called Gold Mine anyway. And yeah, I can't wait to share more Revolution Pro products. So I would love your thoughts on this palette. Have you picked it up? Are you going to pick it up? You know, what kind of looks have you been trying with it? Love that. Also love your thoughts on the foundation. Obviously keep the comments coming, because I'm just absolutely loving them. And yeah, I really love your feedback. And of course, if you have just stumbled across my channel, I would absolutely love it. It would make my day if you subscribe to watch further videos. But until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.